Spiritual Captivity by Lou White. Chapter 2, Weak and Miserable Principles. Christmas, birthdays, Easter, and Halloween are special days in the eyes of most people and entwined very strongly with family bonds. Yahuwah forbids us to mimic pagans. We've been duped, and witchcraft has entangled itself with our family bonds. When we abandon pagan customs and explain why we can no longer practice them, we are accused of being hateful, and they heap abuse on us. 1 Peter chapter 4 shows us what's happening. It says, "Consequently, he does not live out his remaining time on earth for human passions, but for the will of Elohim. For you have spent enough time in the past carrying out the same desires as the pagans, living in debauchery, lust, drunkenness, orgies, carousing, and detestable idolatry. Because of this, they consider it strange of you not to plunge with them into the same flood of reckless indiscretion, and they heap abuse on you." This is what Yahuwah means about us being the salt of the earth. If we live among them and they hardly notice us, we have lost our saltiness. At Revelation chapter 12, Yahusha describes for us a great sign. The woman clothed with the sun, with the moon under her feet, is his own unwary bride, surrounded by the 12 stars' patterns. She is defiled by all her idolatrous sun worship. Our acts of obedience are our white robes. We no longer walk as pagans. Come out of her. Revelation chapter 18, verse 4. Yahusha uses these words to call his bride out of the teachings of the harlot mother before releasing his wrath. CMT 24 in Yashayahu/Isaiah 24. When was Yahusha born? Tradition informs us Yahusha, Jesus, was born December 25th, Christmas Day, and shepherds and magi came that night to worship the child. The truth is far different in practically every detail. To the Romans, December 25th was the time of Saturnalia, celebrated with wild frivolity, drunken feasting, and fertility symbols to herald the rebirth of their sun deity, Apollo. All sun deities are Nimrod babbled in other names. Soldiers knew him as the Persian form Mithras, the slayer of the bull, the zodiac/animal constellation Taurus. This figure is located at the Vatican. See the hat of Mithras and the elves on the right and left. These clues show us we're looking at Santa, an esoteric Nimrod solar deity. December 25th was adopted to revise the pagan festival into a Christian festival. In 321, Constantine enforced Rome's venerable Day of the Sun, replacing the seventh-day Shabbat as a day to rest. Sunday is not Yahuwah's Shabbat. Hebrews chapter 4 proves it. Occult practices were camouflaged with new interpretations, leaving the symbols and behavior perfectly intact to this day. Mithras was the Persian sun deity, popularized by the Roman soldiers. They went full tilt Nimrod too. Christmas, a Satanic Practice. Here is a 17th century Puritan public notice. It reads, "The observation of Christmas having been deemed a sacrilege, the exchanging of gifts and greetings, dressing in fine clothing, feasting, and similar satanical practices are hereby forbidden with the offender liable to a fine of 5 shillings. Santa is the Nimrod sun deity. The sun's birthday has been celebrated for 4,000 years on the same day. Santa Claus is a mispronunciation of St. Nicholas, heard in English as Santa Claus. St. Nicholas never existed, but is a Catholic myth. The world is deluded by similar myths. The Celtic word for child feast is Yule. The Yule log is related to Nimrod as the sun deity, bringing back light and warmth to the world. His birthday and other kings after him were the earliest form of birthday celebrations. Most of the world goes by a calendar year heavily influenced by this ancient association with the king's birthday. Nimrod is all over this, and his mythology hovers near the fireplace of homes today as families burn a Yule log in the hope of his arrival down the chimney. In the Celtic Druid tongue, Yule means child. To these heathens, Yuletide meant a death, not a birth. A child was offered to their Sun Deity. The fireplace was a Roman family's worship place. The most important day to a witch is their own birthday. The custom to surround oneself with loved ones on this day is believed to protect the celebrant from evil. Witches worship Mother Nature, their goddess. The Norse Astra is the old term for Babel's Ishtar, the Earth Mother, also known widely now as Easter. We have inherited nothing but futility, and pastors declare Yahuwah's word is done away. Most live as if they are pleasing Yahuwah with their pagan behavior, as if he now loves the things he once called abominations. Nimrod's rebellion is also expressed in humanism, encouraging people to serve humanity rather than Yahuwah. Nimrod's objectives are reflected in the rising world order. The man who invented Christmas was Nimrod. It is no coincidence that his avatar deities, which exist only in the imaginations of men, were all supposedly born on December 25th. They are Mithras, Helios, Horus, Attis, Zeus, Dionysus, son of Zeus, Jupiter, Ra, Perseus, Tammuz, Hercules, Baal, Bacchus, Apollo, Moloch, Sol, Inti, Krishna, Jobulin, Odin/Woden, Surya, and Baphomet. The scriptural directives and calendar were disregarded, and the framework of paganism was adopted, causing great confusion. Sun worship became disguised as Christianity, keeping every habit ever practiced by pagans: Sunday, holy water, statues, crosses, trees, wreaths, relics, rosaries, pillars, circumambulation, priestly vestments, scarves, talismans, domes, etc. Daniel chapter 12, verse 4, tells us in the end times knowledge of truth will increase. The neglected scriptural festivals are shadows forming the redemption plan, and one of them foreshadows Sukkot, or tabernacles, which is the marriage supper. Those who practice idolatry will not be counted in the assembly at the marriage supper of the Lamb. See Revelation chapter 22, verses 14 to 15. Yahusha has never had anything to do with Christmas or December 25th. Men forced this upon the ignorant masses. Here in the information age, ignorance is a choice. We can serve the traditions and commandments of men through recycled fertility festivals inherited from pagans, or we can wake up and serve the Creator of all things, our Redeemer, Yahusha. Noah seemed to be a nutcase to the people of his time until it started to rain. Look closely at the pictures above. Sun worship involved child sacrifices. The dragon gave them their throne or seat of authority. Old Nick is a euphemism for the devil. Learn what a Christmas tree really is. It's an Asherah. Ashram is the plural form and is translated groves in the King James Version. These trees are fertility objects formerly brought into homes and decorated by pagans. See Yirmiyahu / that is, Jeremiah chapter 10. Wreaths were placed on doors and symbolized the birth canal at the time of the rebirth of the sun at December 25th. The first Christmas was in Babel, not Bethlehem. Perfect people are hard to get along with. A quote by Sylvia Fashioned, July 6, 2022. There is only one exception we should recognize. His name is Yahusha HaMashiach. Google Yahusha and obey him. Watch what happens to you on the inside. Is Obedience Now Heresy? Since the 4th century CE, Nazarene have been accused of being Judaizers, legalists, as well as shunning ecclesiastical powers / authorities. Our families trample our words, because a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown. Mark 6, verse 4. Most people brush off the truth when they hear it, because it conflicts with their perception of reality. They show us their disinterest and aggravation when we give them the words of Yahusha. In these situations, the best approach is to live the living words, so our example sends a message without speaking the words. The pastors have trained the whole world to disregard obedience, yet that is the only way our belief is perfected. Instead of obedience, the pastors teach the world how to sin with a seared conscience. The serpent has deceived the whole world through masquerading messengers of light, and it takes Yahusha to call us out of the delusion. The mind or perspective of the flesh does not want to obey, nor does it have the capacity to be able to obey. The mind of the Ruach of Yahusha gives us the ability to discern the philosophical schemes, so we are no longer a prey to be overcome by them. Without obedience, which is the objective of our belief, it is impossible to please Yahusha. He only gives his Ruach to those who obey him. Acts 5, verse 32.